golf, it's like you're sitting in a golf cart or walking with someone for 4+ hours a day. You're sharing stories. You're having a drink afterwards. You're cheering each other on. You're booching each other. Like, golf is such a unique sport where it's so much about the relationships. And that's the thing for me that I love more than anything else. And that's the area I like to focus on with Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Jonathan, I think it's matching shirt day or something, like both rocking the...
I'm colorblind. I can't tell you if we have the same color shirt on or not.
I am pretty sure we have the same Be Dratty shirt on today, which is okay. Like,
I've got dots on mine. Do you have dots on yours?
Oh, no, we don't have the same one. You've got the sport one then.
Okay, yeah.
You must be feeling cool that you're massaging dots. Is that what you're...
I'm feeling sporty. I'm feeling dangerous.
No, I've got the soft, what is it, Prima cotton or something like that. This thing's awesome. So, well, either way, it's a nice Be Dratty shirt. And we are very thankful to have that and invest like this from Zero Restriction. Our friends there at Summit Golf Brands, check them out. Use bestball20, save some money on some great stuff. I got to hang out with our buddy Cole Chapman over the weekend from Summit. He's such a good guy.
You had a good golf
Dan
weekend.
Drollinger. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, definitely a nice golf weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of nice golf people that we get to hang out with, Adam Rosen, we just had a good chat with him. You're about to hear that. Such a good conversation, man. I would encourage everybody to listen to this whole one. Like, don't cut it off halfway. Adam is just, I don't know, he's a genius in business and he loves golf, but more importantly, he loves people and the relationships like us that come from this game. Got some great stories. Got some advice for those that might want to start an email newsletter like his, Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon. Like, he's crushing it. He's getting close to 200,000 subscribers. And that's amazing. Like, he knows what he's doing. So check it out. And it's not just hey, we're going to build up a big database, big following of subscribers. Like, it's really good stuff. So excited about that. Excited for you guys to hear that story. What did you think about it, Jonathan?
Well, I mean, he's living out something that I think if I'd realized what an entrepreneur looked like when in my 20s, I probably never would have had a job just like him. I mean, he's taken skill sets and businesses, and it is definitely, once you get the taste of that freedom, you never want to go back. And so you'll hear, I think, sort of an inspiring story of a young guy that's living his best life for sure, and really creating the space that he wants to live in, both professionally, personally. And if you're a middle-aged person going, man, I wish that was my life, it's not too late. I think Colonel Sanders was like 67 years old whenever he started KFC. So there's still time for you to get your life going if you want to.
Just trust the chicken, guys. Just trust the chicken, man. Yep. Y'all enjoy this. Adam Rosen, the founder of many things, including Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon. Y'all have a good one. All right, well, joining us on the Whole Story Podcast, Mr. Adam Rosen of Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon. Adam, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely, man. Well, I don't know where I first came across what you're doing with your newsletter. That is amazing. I'll just say it there. And you and I've had a chat before about a little of this, but I appreciate you coming on to kind of share your story. And we were just chatting, and you're currently in Paris right now, and you mentioned trying to find some good golf courses around there. So there is a love of golf that we all share, and we always like to ask our guests, like, when did that start for you? Like, when did you first want to pick up a club and get out on the course?
I wish I could say it was when I was 6 years old and my dad first said, hey, you want to come to the driving range with me? But for me, I'm like, golf is so boring. It's slow. Like, I like basketball. I like football. And it's funny saying baseball because that's pretty slow as well. But I was like, I don't want to do this. I really picked it up probably 5-6 years ago. I first moved to Hawaii in 2019 as I was selling my first startup. And my dad, he just started to get into golf. So he was living in Hawaii. So we lived close to each other. And he's like, I want to pick up golf, like, come golf with me. And we both were horrible. But it was just great. Like we get out there and it was just a great 2 hours if we were playing nine, 4 hours if we were playing 18, plus the time in the clubhouse afterwards. So we were both terrible at golf, but it was just a great way to connect with my dad and just enjoy the beauty of golf.
I love it. And so you're in Hawaii. I've heard they have some pretty good golf courses there. What was that experience like, right as a beginner, then stepping foot on some of the most beautiful places in the world?
Yeah, I feel like I was spoiled. Like playing in Hawaii, it's like one of the easier places to play just because the climate is so perfect. Versus I spent a lot of time in Austin, Texas, and as you can imagine, it's pretty dry out there, and it's a very different game than when you're playing in slightly wet, beautiful grass, sand is perfect. Like it's a very different experience, but it's the best. I mean, again, it makes it better when you're not playing well or when you don't know exactly what you're doing because you just look around and you're like, I'm in paradise. Like the birds are chirping, the temperature is perfect, the mountains are gorgeous. If you're lucky enough to have a view of the ocean, like you just are outside in paradise. And oh, by the way, you're playing a sport that hopefully you're getting better at every day.
Well, but talk to us though, because you were in paradise, and then now you basically just travel around the world because you're your own boss and you can do that. You're in Paris right now, right? So are you looking for French golfers? Are you going to go try to take a tour of the mainland there and see if you can find some more golf courses?
Yeah, it's one of the cool things too that I didn't start the newsletter to do this, but now I'm like, this is actually probably the coolest perk of it. Like I was in Portugal, a few weeks back, and I got to play at an amazing golf course. And then when I was in the UK for a few weeks last week, and I got to play at an insanely cool golf course from the 1800s. And now that I'm in Paris, I want to play at some cool golf courses here too. So it's my job now to do this stuff. So, I'm trying to take advantage of that.
Well, you say it's your job. You do have a kind of a full-time job. You mentioned selling a startup before, and you've got another company that I think has helped you because of the skill set that you've done there. But let's talk about kind of the reason for launching Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon. And I guess first, tell everybody what it is, what it's all about.
Yeah. To your point, I was, my main business, like how I'm able to do this stuff, because Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon isn't paying the bills, at least not yet, is I have a startup I've had for about 5 years and we do email marketing. So we do that for some of the biggest brands in the world, like Allstate or the UFC and Zapier and some other big brands. And I bought my first newsletter business being a traveling guy, a digital nomad, even though I don't love that term. I bought a newsletter back in 2024 in January, grew it pretty nicely, and then ended up selling that newsletter at the end of 2024. And I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool business. I should do more of this. So then through my company, we started building out different newsletters. And then I'm like, I want to create a fun newsletter. Like, I don't want to just do a sales newsletter or a CFO newsletter or an email newsletter. Like, I want to do one that I would actually enjoy. So it was actually after I was golfing with my dad. We were in the clubhouse having a drink, and I was like, I want to create a golf newsletter and make it about what the professionals are doing, but also make it for what the average golfers and the everyday golfers, the weekend golfers like me are doing. And then also kind of have like a fun, spicy section too, where, the bourbon section. So that's where the birdies, bogeys, and bourbon comes from. Birdies is everything that's happening on the tour and with professionals. The bogey section is for more the amateur golfer types. And then the bourbon section is just kind of the fun stuff. So whether that's like we just added a cart girls feature. So I feel like cart girls are some of the most underappreciated people in golf. They're some of the people that make every round better, but they never get featured. So I added in a cart girls feature. We have a bourbon feature, a great course to check out. So that was kind of the culmination of it. I started it about a year ago and with really no expectation. So it's been kind of fun to see how it's evolved. And I'm curious to see how it will evolve over the next 6 to 12 months.
What clubhouse were you sitting in whenever you and your dad had this idea?
Yeah, so he's actually a member at it's called the Wahoo Country Club
Back in
in
Hawaii.
Wahoo. Yeah, in Hawaii. So yeah, we were overlooking the ocean and the mountains, and I don't know what bourbon I was drinking at the time, but that's when I was like, yeah, this would be kind of cool.
Very nice. Well, you say you started it less than a year ago, and looking at the numbers, I mean, on your site, you say join 175,000 plus golf lovers. And again, this goes to what you do full time probably, but how have you been able to grow an email newsletter, something like this, so quickly?
A lot of it is about putting in money, right? Like doing advertising, doing meta ads, Facebook ads, etc. Having some really good partnerships too with other people that are cross promoting the brand. Referrals have been pretty decent as well, but just trying to get ourselves out there, but also just investing the money so that people can actually see what we're doing. And that's also the nice thing about having a main business that's able to provide and support is if I was just doing this on my own and didn't have my company resources to throw behind it, it would be a lot tougher to grow it as fast as we have. So yeah, we're hoping to cross 200,000. Looks like we might cross that probably not the end of this week, but maybe the end of next week, which would be really exciting. But the main thing is just we got to create good content that people actually want to enjoy. Because if not, they're not going to want to subscribe. Number one, or number two, they're going to unsubscribe pretty quickly because we get a million emails a day in our inbox, and if we don't love it or find it useful or valuable, they're out of there. So it all starts with having useful content. But it also does help, of course, to put some money behind it so more eyeballs can see it.
Where are you getting that content? Is this you just in all your world travelers and your Google searches or internets on Instagram? Or do you have a team of folks that are helping you sort of drive that content and find interesting pieces?
Yeah, again, the other nice thing about leveraging my company resources is like we have a few members of what we call like our publications team, basically our newsletter team. And one of them is solely dedicated just to helping me with Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon. It's like we're always showcasing like golf deals every week of like, hey, golf clubs, shoes, you name, golf club, you name it. I don't have the time to look for that stuff. Honestly, I wouldn't even know how to look for that stuff. So he helps find that stuff. He puts it in the newsletter and he'll help me with other parts of the newsletter that are more admin related tasks that I don't want to do. Like I just want to write stuff that's interesting to me. I don't want to find the other stuff though that needs to be in there because it's part of the big value people get. But again, I'm grateful that I'm able to kind of pick away from my company resources so that it doesn't take too much of my time here and it could be something that I could just truly love versus feel like a job.
Well, you say you like the writing side. Is there one piece of that? Is it the professional? Is it the amateur stuff, or is it the bourbon side? Like, what if you get to pick one that you really want to focus on or enjoy the most? What is it for you?
Probably the bourbon side, just because like the professional side, so many newsletters like you guys, have that stuff covered really well. Like it's important. I think it's an important piece of it, but I feel like it's probably the least needed part of my newsletter, honestly, because it's like a lot of people do a phenomenal job of covering the professional side. And there are a lot of people that know it a lot better than I do, even. On the bogey side is interesting to me too, but that's a lot of where we put like swing tips or, great golf deals, that type of stuff. So it's less important about the writing. The bourbon side is where I get to kind of have some fun and share more of my stories and, talk about the side of golf that is really unique to me. Like for me, I'm still not a great golfer by any stretch. I wouldn't even say I'm a good golfer. I say I'm sometimes an okay golfer and most days less than an okay golfer. But like what I love about golf is the stuff that you can't translate to almost any other sport, like the camaraderie, the friendships, the family you're out with. Like it is so unique. You can't just, I mean, I'm 35 now. Like I'm not going and playing pickup basketball mainly because I've had too many buddies that have popped an Achilles doing it. I'm like, I don't want to take a chance
Yep.
doing that. Like playing pickup baseball at this point, like I don't think I could hit a curveball anymore. Like I'm not running out and playing flag football anymore. Pickleball, I love playing pickleball, but it's like you're just hustling. You're not. There's no camaraderie. You're not real camaraderie. Like not relationship building. Golf, it's like you're sitting in a golf cart or walking with someone for 4+ hours a day. You're sharing stories. You're having a drink afterwards. You're cheering each other on. You're booching each other. Like golf is such a unique sport where it's so much about the relationships, and that's the thing for me that I love more than anything else. And that's the area I like to focus on with birdies, bogeys, and bourbon.
Well, you kind of
Still
hit
think
the nail on the head with. I think the reason I was attracted to the site and to what you're doing is because, I mean, for us, that's exactly the same thing, right? Like nobody care. We might talk a very little bit about the professional side, but
Mhm.
we say golf is people, right? We want to connect with people like yourself, people that yeah, you do get to spend the 4 or 5 hours with on the course, build those relationships, have the experiences, and so I think that's what is attractive about your newsletter and why we would encourage people everywhere to go check it out because Yeah, the scores don't matter. Like we played this weekend, I couldn't tell you what I shot, but I could tell you about each person I got to hang out with, and just the stories of what they are doing. Because for us, that's what should be celebrated, right? People that are doing great things in the game, or their friendships and relationships that you get from this thing. So, yeah, I love the fact that that's your answer, right? You want to talk about the not on the scorecard stuff, and I think that's what's important to us too.
Yeah, I feel like for most people, like I'm never even gonna think about going on tour, and neither are most people. Even some of my best buddies that are phenomenal golfers, like it's like MJ versus a D2 college player. Like they just don't stand a chance. But like what really matters is the people you're with, the relationships you build, and like I'm sure in all of our phones and everyone listening to this, there's going to be first name and then golf course you golfed with them on,
That's right.
and you're hitting them up, and I people that become customers or I become customers with them or just buddies you're going to grab drinks with or dinner with. Like it's such a unique sport in that aspect that I haven't found another sport that replicates it.
I'd like to say for the record, I still think I could hit the curveball. Probably not true, but uh,
Yeah.
with all the travel you've done and the places that you've been, let's talk about that 19th hole because we'll get to golf courses later. Where have you found to be like one of the coolest hangs? Just like those moments where we all have those moments where we want to go back and play the golf course, but then we have those other moments where we're like sitting on the chair going, I could just watch this and not go play golf. So where's been the best place? And in your case, I'm a gin and tonic guy, but where's your bourbon been sipped that you'd prefer to go back to?
That's a good question. So are you talking more like golf courses or just in general? Like where's my favorite place I've traveled to?
Let's go both since you travel.
Cool. So, and I'm more of the general travel side. I love going to Italy. Like there's uh, pretty much any part I've been to in Italy, whether it's the north, the south, the east, or the west, is always amazing. But my favorite is I got to spend the summer on the Amalfi Coast in Positano a few
Wow.
years back, and for me that was so special because it's the crown jewel they say of the Amalfi Coast, and there's I don't think too many more beautiful places in the world. So that's probably the most special place I've been to. But there's so many, like even just Hawaii, which I've been grateful to spend so much time. Like you kind of get used to it, and you almost have to pinch yourself just being like, "Oh, this is paradise you're living in, and don't take it for granted." So I'd say in terms of just places I've traveled to, those are some of my favorites. In terms of best 19th hole, I'm trying to figure out an answer other than the Hawaii places I've golfed at, just because it's so special. Um, but I'll say I went to Otavio's Dunes in Portugal about 2-3 weeks ago, as I was telling you guys earlier, and that was a really special one, just because it was two of my buddies. One that lives in San Diego, one lives in Austin, and they were coming out to Portugal. So I just booked a flight then from the UK. I was in London at the time to go to Portugal, and it was such a cool experience. And the wind was like swirling, like it was like 40, 50 mile an hour winds. So, you got the wind behind you, you can drive on 400 yards, you get the wind in front of you, you're driving that thing 100 yards. And you hit it high enough, that ball is swirling around. Um, but it was afterwards, like just being able, but the good thing about that, nobody was playing. It was us and one other group. So we just got to hang out and just drink local beer and just relax and just enjoy it versus caring about what our score was. And the 19th hole there was special. Like you're right on the ocean. And it's just a gorgeous golf course. I think it's a top 100 golf course. Like it was a special experience.
Were you out there watching people surf the 100-foot wave out there in Portugal?
Surprising, no one was actually out there surfing, at least where we got to see.
Wait a minute. Does
Yeah.
But the
Nazir have a
great
golf course?
Yeah, maybe.
Nazir has a golf course nearby because that would be epic. Watch those guys crash out on 100-foot waves while
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
trying to putt out.
I imagine the wind that can help make that, like, could definitely affect a golf ball for sure.
Probably.
I've never seen. It was like, if you guys sounds like you guys might follow baseball. If you remember Tim Wakefield, like it was like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball sometimes.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. I guess quick side note, what bourbon choice, like, would you go with? Like, if you could pick one to have wherever in that magical place, like, what would you wanna be sipping on?
That's a good question. Like I'm kind of a simple guy when it comes to bourbon. Like even I like a good makers, like I'm actually not too picky when it comes to my bourbon. The big thing when I look at bourbon is when I'm in a cold weather climate, that's when I like to drink my bourbon. When I'm in Hawaii, I'm typically drinking like vodka. I'm typically drinking a glass of wine. Like typically I love my bourbon when I'm in my cold weather places. Like when I'm in Boston or in New York, which is where I grew up, that's when I love it's freezing outside. You got the fireplace going. Like that's when I like to drink my bourbon the most.
I love it. So where, I guess, where all have you been, I guess, in the world traveling, and maybe some of the highlights of golf experiences that you've gotten to see? Besides, you've
Um,
mentioned Hawaii, you mentioned, obviously you're on the hunt there in Paris, and you've done Portugal. Golf in Italy, I imagine you probably hit up a few spots there.
Not yet, actually. So that's one of the yeah, I only got this newsletter pretty recently, and since I started, I've really only spent significant time in Hawaii, Austin, and now a little bit overseas. Um, some great courses, I should say, in like West Palm, Jupiter, I've been to. But now that I have this, it's like my excuse when I'm back in Italy. I want to check. Like I wanted to go to the Ryder Cup a couple years ago, but I just missed it. No, I actually haven't been to a lot of other courses overseas. But now that I have this newsletter, it's like again my excuse to do it.
Yeah, you're gonna start planning your travel around where do you wanna play golf.
100%. And now it's a legit business expense to. I have to go to these big tournaments. I have to, you know, get these new golf clubs. I have to do this stuff. If I'm not doing it, then I'm letting the business down. So someone's got to do
Of
it.
course. Somebody's gotta do it. I get it.
Living the dream, living the dream. Well, so where do you think the newsletter goes next? Is it just continuing to grow? Do you feel like it has, because you mentioned you had one for a year and then you sold it, or is this one of those little passion projects where you're like, I could see doing this for the next 5 to 10 years, and then taking it wherever it goes?
I feel like the biggest challenge I'm going to have is like, and I've already primed my business partner. I'm like, the other newsletters we're building, I'm fine selling them all.
Right.
Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon. That's not what I'm interested in selling, which he totally gets, and we're all on the same page for it. But yeah, with this one, I just want to keep building it and seeing where it goes. Like if you were to ask me a year ago, where's Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon going to be? I would have to say, number one, I have no idea. And number two, I don't know if it's even going to be a thing a year from now. Like people might just say, I'm not interested in it. This sucks. Like I don't think this should be a business. So I just want to figure out ways to give more things to the golf community that they're currently not being offered. Like, I have a lot of creative ideas I wanna do. Like, I'm curious about doing some golf swag. Like, when I was in the UK, I was like, I found a place I could put together, a logo so I could be cool like you guys. Um, I'm curious if we'll do something with merch. I'm curious if we'll just sponsor golf trips for, groups of people to go out to cool spots. I'm curious what kind of sponsors and partners we can get on board that can give really cool value or free stuff or highly discounted stuff to our community. So right now, I still don't know. I just want to find unique content that resonates with the audience. Because I think if you could do that, there is just so much you could give to the community, but you really have to build that community and get things that are very valuable to them so they want to stay engaged. Because if not, there's just too many choices for them to go elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this. So, obviously, we've been doing the podcast stuff and trying to tell golf stories for a number of years now, and you're doing this and doing it extremely well. There are a ton of podcasts out there. There's a ton of newsletters out there. There's a lot of, like you said, voids or spaces that still need to be filled. So, what would you do to encourage someone that says, you know what, I'm thinking about starting a newsletter? Like, what would be, one or two things you would say to them to help, I don't know, just give them the momentum or some positive mindsets going into what they want to try to do?
Number one is just do it, period. And that would be my advice for anyone doing anything. Because worst case, you fail and then you take the learning from it and you move on. So that would be number one is just do it. Most people just will sit and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And then all of a sudden it's 5 years later and they didn't do anything. So my advice for pretty much anything is just do it. And whatever the outcome is, you win and that's great, or you lose and you learn and then you grow from it. So that's number one. But number two, more relevant, and I tell this to people all the time. I don't care what type of emailing you're doing or any marketing for that matter. What's in it for the audience? Why would they subscribe? And I think too many people just talk about I. Like I try to not make the newsletter about me. Like I'll share when I go golfing, but nobody cares about me. No one cares about Adam. What they care about is something that's relevant to them. And that's what the way I try to build the newsletter is to make it about what does a subscriber actually want to get out of this? And that would be my advice to anyone who wants to start it. Like, look at what you think is missing, try to fill that void and make it valuable to the audience. And if you could do that enough, people will want to be a part of it and stay a part of it.
I love it. Jonathan, I saw him smile because Jonathan also is very successful in career stuff. And Jonathan, you want to throw out your phrase that you probably heard Adam say without saying it?
Well, I was only successful once. This guy's been successful like 3 times before he's 30. I tell people all the time, in 5 years, it will be 5 years,
Mhm.
regardless. And like you just said, just do it. Like, the worst thing that happens is you don't do it again, and you realize that was a terrible idea. And we can attest to that because we have 3,000 koozies sitting in my garage that it was an idea we had. We thought it would work, and then it didn't. We're like, well, guess what we're not going to do? We're not going to do that again. So, and yet here
We
we
solved the
are.
problem. We'll solve the problem of we'll never need to buy a koozie again, though.
I
There you
just
go.
had friends who took 4 of them last night. So, but it also led us to, hey, that's not what we're doing. So let's do the podcast. And here we are, 170 plus episodes, talking to the Adam Rosen, world traveler golf guy. So, yeah, I think it's inspiring. And like you said, what's in it for the listener? What's in it for the person that's going to read this? Because there are options in life. We have 6 devices on at any given time. We have 4 different people in our lives that are pulling us in different directions. So being laser focused, I think, is good on that. You'd mentioned though, so I want to step back a second, because you'd mentioned if you didn't have the company that you do, because obviously you guys specialize in this, it would be
Mhm.
a different road. What do you say to someone out there that's just grinding it out and doesn't have the 5 years worth of experience or the assistant to do all the other stuff? What would you think be the best way for them to operate?
Even if I didn't have the company though, what I would number one have to figure out is one, like you just described, Jonathan, is as an entrepreneur, you have to have a gut check. Like if
Yeah.
you can't risk losing, the money you spend on, I think you said 4,000 koozies, then you probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur because that is just the reality. There's sometimes you do things like I shared a win of, we bought a newsletter, we sold it within a year. It was great. I've also bought businesses that flopped and 3 months later, you're like, you know what? It's better to just cut it and throw it out back
Right.
versus trying to keep building a product that isn't going anywhere. So we always share the wins, but I can guarantee all 3 of us have plenty of losses that, you know, we could definitely share that will show it's not always a home run. But if I were to do this on my own, I would figure out the system. I would build the system, and then I would hire someone overseas because there's so much good talent you could find overseas for $4 or $5 an hour. Even if you want to get better talent, 6, 7, 8, $9 an hour that can do these tasks for you. And it doesn't need to take up all your time. So if people can use websites like Upwork is a really great website for finding overseas talent. This doesn't need to cost you a ton of money and you can stay out of the weeds of this, but you have to first build the system and the process so that somebody else can execute on that. So even if I didn't have the team, I still wouldn't be doing all the admin work because number one, I just don't even want to do it aside from all the other stuff. But when I started, I did do all that. Just like I'm sure all of us can say, when you start something, you got to be in the weeds, you got to do the grunt work. But
Yeah.
then once you do the grunt work, you build the system, then you don't do the grunt work anymore.
Love it. I love it. Well, Jonathan had already asked kind of about, future growth, things like that. But I guess any like big plans for what's next? Like, do you have a newsletter part 2? Do you have other ideas like that are kind of right on the edge of launching?
Nothing I would say is like on the edge of launching. Like we have some content ideas, like that's more on the small side, but I would like to do big sponsor. Like I just think it'd be so cool to be able to give away free golf trips. Like one of my buddies with all of his buddies in San Diego, they do this like sick golf trip every year. They do all this planning for it. It's like 20, 25 guys that go out to, Alabama. I think they're doing Utah this year. And it's like their thing they look forward to all year. And like, I'd love to be able to sponsor people in our newsletter to do these golf trips where they don't have to pay for it, and do giveaways like that. I think that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. Um, the merch stuff, I'm curious if that has any legs. There's a ton of people that do it and have a lot more experience in that. But yeah, for me right now, I just want to continue growing and giving value to the subscribers and giving them content they can't find anywhere else. Because if you do that, I just feel like then you can get your creative palette going and that's when you can have a lot of fun with this business, but you got to get there first.
Yeah, you are definitely crushing it right now. So I personally am excited every time I see the email pop in my inbox. So
Thank you.
I will always be a reader. Well, let's do this. We do value your time, so we'll start wrapping this thing up. If you've listened to any of our shows, again, one of the things that we started with from kind of day one is we want to hear memorable stories. So I guess the story is what is the story of your most memorable golf shot?
I'd say my most memorable one was actually like it was my first birdie. Like this, and this was probably like 3 or 4 years ago, just showing how bad I am. But it was probably 340, 350 foot par four. This was in Hawaii, and I got a good downhill slope, smoked it, got it on the green. I probably should have got an eagle with it, which would have made the story a lot better. But I was out there with my dad. He couldn't have been more pumped. Like we just love cheering each other on and having a blast. So like that's one that just always stands out to me. Getting my first birdie should have been my first eagle. I would have jumped the birdie thing and went right to the eagle, which would have been sick. But I'd say that just because, of course, getting your first birdie, that's cool. But more importantly, like doing it with my dad, doing it in Hawaii, I'd say that was probably my most memorable golf shot. Even though I should have got the eagle though. I should have came through.
That's all
I
right.
do
Like
have
you
to ask
said, though,
how close was the eagle?
It was probably a 10, 11 footer. So, it wasn't like for me, not the easiest putt, but I still should have hit it.
Tap in birdie
I
isn't a
mean,
bad way to go.
No,
two
no, I'll
two out
take
of
it.
the three shots were really, really good, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
to clarify, it was a 10-foot eagle putt. I don't know if I said that. I don't know
Yeah.
if I
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
you,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
but yeah,
That's
should have drilled
awesome.
that eagle, but it's all good.
All right. Another thing we like to do is what we call the quick nine, just a little back and forth here. First question is, what is your favorite course that you've played?
I'm going to do a different one in Hawaii. I just think it's a special one. It's Koalina Golf Club. It's a super touristy place. If anyone ever goes, try to hit me up if I'm in Hawaii so I can sneak you in so you don't have to pay the full $300. I'm sorry, Koalina, but it's crazy what you charge these people when you're a tourist. When you're a local, I have a Hawaii ID, by the way. The first thing my dad told me when I came out to Hawaii was get a Hawaii driver's license. I ended up getting an identification card. The reason why is golf will like literally be cut by not half. You're going to pay like 2/3 less if you're a local. So, if anyone comes, reach out to me and we'll go out there together and I'll try to, sneak you on so you don't have to pay a crazy amount for it.
That's awesome.
Hawaii travel tips. I love it. All right. Well, now that you are getting more and more into this game and you're going to start traveling to see different places, what course is at the top of your bucket list?
It's a good one. You know what? I think it'd be really cool to play. Like, I think Pebble Beach would be awesome. Like, I've never played Pebble Beach. I think that'd be a fun one to play. I keep hearing great things about it. Have you guys played there?
No.
I've been there, did not play it, but yes, everybody we talk to absolutely loves it.
I feel like everyone mentions Pebble Beach. So I got to,
Yep.
and I got to go, I got to make it happen at some point.
Well, sounds like a good article to write. I need to go play it first.
That is
They
true.
should bring you out there and comp everything.
I think we should tag team it. We should reach out to these courses and the three of us should go out and
Absolutely.
play at some of these sick courses.
We have
Yeah.
three
If
really
you want
bad golfers. Let me show
average
you
golfers, let's go. We're all on it.
All right. What is your favorite course that no one knows about?
I'm going to go to the Bath Golf Club just because I didn't know about it either. And it's a really cool course in the 1800s. Like they don't even have golf carts, or they maybe have a few for older people that are there. Beautiful rolling hills in the UK, and it's pretty cheap too. Like it's also not too expensive. So I'd say that one I obviously just played there, so it's top of mind for me. But I didn't know about it until I got to Bath in the UK, and I saw, wow, this is a sick course, and it's right down the street. So I'll go with that one.
It's awesome.
Nice. Well, like you, it is more about who you're with than the courses or even what we score. So, who would be in your dream foursome?
That's great. I got to put my dad in there. I'm of course gonna go with Tiger. And I got to put Tiger in there. And let's see. I'm gonna put a toss up with three of my buddies and just say one of you guys can get it, and then everyone can say they play with Tiger. So I don't want to be too greedy here. I want someone else to be able to appreciate playing with Tiger.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey, you know what? Dream round. We can play with like a seven some. Let's go.
Right. It'd be
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. Yeah, we'll just
Pebble
keep
Beach.
adding up.
Tell Pebble
Yeah,
Beach to
add
bring
Pebble.
7.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, true. I'll throw you guys in there too. How about that?
There we go.
What has been your favorite snack at the turn?
Going classic. You got to get a hot dog at the turn.
Gotta get a hot dog.
Yeah, agreed. Favorite golf course logo?
Oh, that's a great one. That is a great one. I'm gonna go with Colina. It's a little ladybug. It's a great, good looking logo. I actually like bringing that on my, I like buying stuff from there and bringing it to the mainland because it typically sticks out well. But Colina in Hawaii's got a pretty cool one.
Nice.
What has been your favorite pro shop purchase?
My golf clubs. I bought my golf club bag, I should say. So I got my bag and it's got the Oahu Country Club logo on it. So
That's
I'd say
awesome.
that was probably my favorite one, just because when you're not playing in Hawaii, it does tend to stick out a little bit. And I like to represent Hawaii when I'm off the island.
Yeah, and it's just a great reminder of a great place. All right, what is one thing golfers should do?
Focus on speed. Like one of my things I always when I say speed, I don't mean like you got to run through a round. But one thing I always learned, even when I was horrible at golf, was pace of play is so important. Like we don't mind golfing with a bad golfer, but we do mind golfing with a slow golfer. So that's one thing I've always tried to do is like I'm picking up after a certain amount of shots, or, I'm not taking 11 shots out of the sand. And when I'm with people, especially when they're new, I try to coach them on that because, again, I don't care if you're the best golfer in the world or the worst golfer in the world. I just don't like slow golfers. So I'd say that's the biggest thing, especially as more people get introduced to the game. Learning the golf etiquette is so important. And for me, that's one of my biggest things, especially being a New Yorker. Like we're not known as the most patient people. So that probably feeds into it. So I'd say pace of play is very important for any golfer, any skill level.
Sometimes you got to line up that putt for 9. Like it's important. It's going to make or break your
That is
golf
true.
game.
That is true. That is true.
All right, last one. Finish this sentence. The best part of golf is
The people you golf with.
Amen to that. Adam, this has been great, man. Tell everybody where they can find Birdies, Bogeys, and Bourbon.
Check us out at bbb-golf.com. And if you want to reach out to me, it's just Adam at bbb-golf.com. I'd love to hear from you and hope you'll subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put links in the show notes highlighting what you do and try to get maybe a couple more. Maybe we'll be the ones that refer that one that gets you over 200,000. That'll be fun.
Hey, when that happens, then maybe that's the sign we got to do Pebble Beach with, 3 of us and we'll get Tiger in there.
That sounds good. Adam, this has been great, man. Congrats on all the success with this and all the other things that you've done. And it's been an honor, man, to help tell the story of what you guys are doing.
I appreciate you guys. Jonathan, Robby, you guys are awesome and looking forward to, hopefully get out there soon.
Let's do it. Well, for Adam and Jonathan, this is Robby, and y'all been listening to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast.